All right, guys, welcome back to Crypto Dill News. Day one of XRP Las Vegas yesterday was a huge success. So many announcements, so many partnerships. Let's jump right into it. Korea's first internet-only bank, K-Bank, has integrated Ripple custody. K-Bank is advancing secure multi-chain asset management with Ripple. Yesterday, before the conference started, Ripple announced a new Middle East and Africa new headquarters in Dubai. Also, before the event started, Mike Higgins announced that Ripple expanded their partnership with Bullish for Ripple Prime users to have direct access to Bitcoin options along with using Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD. And before we jump into everything that happened at day one of XRP Las Vegas, today's sponsor is FOMO. FOMO is a crypto trading platform for meme coins and viral tokens where you can trade from your phone or desktop. It is the only social first trading app where you can actually tap on anyone's account on FOMO, be able to see what they're buying, what they're holding, what they have sold, and be able to essentially track their wallets. You can get real-time notifications for what the best traders are buying. On FOMO, there's zero complexity as you can use multiple chains. FOMO is available on the App Store or Google Play. If you guys want to get 10% off trading fees, then use code CryptoDillNews. Join 500,000 plus traders making their name on FOMO today. Guys, let's get back into the video. So in the morning on day one of XRP Las Vegas, there was a partnership announcement between XRP and Rakuten, where now Japan users on Rakuten can actually convert their points on Rakuten to XRP and spend it everywhere. At the event, we also saw the Kwok brothers, Dom Kwok and Phil Kwok. They spoke for their Easy 8 app. They actually hosted a little Shark Tank event where they basically told the audience, what business ideas do you have to use on the XRP ledger? We saw the Fuzzy Bear, the Fuzzy Claw team over at XRP Las Vegas on day one. They had their own booth right there. Fuzzy is a meme coin on the XRP ledger. This is not a direct endorsement to buy Fuzzy. I don't own Fuzzy, but they were at the event. Flare Network CEO Hugo Falon was on stage speaking about Flare. Flare has been building and doing a lot on the XRP ledger recently. There were some chants from the crowds on the stage saying 589 XRP. Take a look.
89.
Yesterday, XRP Vegas was #1 trending on X. So if you opened up your X platform yesterday or even today, because now today is day 2 of XRP Las Vegas, I guarantee all you see is XRP Las Vegas everywhere. Next up, the Bull Street app, which is actually my app. We made an announcement yesterday that we're integrating XRP as a form of payment on our Bull Street app. We are also integrating Solana, USDC on the Solana network, and traditional finance for token boosts and verifications directly on the Bull Street app. The app is set to launch this summer 2026, but we selected XRP, Solana, USDC, and traditional finance because we believe that those options are the most secure and scalable. Ripple launched their advanced treasury platform for global payments, which is powered by Ripple's G Treasury. They announced that yesterday during the conference of day one. The Zebek ZBCN team arrived to XRP Las Vegas. They were in town. They even had their team talking on stage. And the moment you've all been waiting for, the GOAT, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, spoke on stage yesterday, day one of XRP Las Vegas. Here is a full breakdown on everything that Brad Garlinghouse said at the event yesterday.
See us. We have a number of good fights. As some of you guys know, I sometimes refer to the XRP army as a separate family. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably not. Can you imagine when you went into the job?
For sure. And at some point, I think, there'll be books written about the whole experience, but it's crazy to look back on that experience. And I think some of the behaviors I think, urgent into this landscape during that fight. But, I also, I'm an optimist. I focus on some of the good stuff. And I tweeted about this, like the difference of Paul Atkins to Gary Gensler. It's just like, wow, in less than a year, they provided structured clarity around a whole bunch of stuff. Like Gary Gensler was there for 4+ years. What? Why didn't he take the time? You just hired more lawyers to pursue people as opposed to actually, let's write down how we view this. And even if I disagree with it, at least it's clear. In retrospect, I really do think I don't really understand why they made some decisions they did in that year.
It's been a journey to get here. Long into a lot of things. I mean, a little bit of time, so I'm gonna race through these questions.
Oh, I think the questions were sheesh. But at Ripple, I get made fun of for stealing my team's thunder. Because sheesh almost a my thunder. I'm dressed. I actually don't want time. He's now like a public company CEO, so we can't say shit. I can ask them.
I think we all remember the
That's a lot of attention. That's
Spicy.
Yeah, I don't regret that. Some of you guys know I wore a t-shirt to a speaking engagement at Cantor Fitzgerald conference in Miami. I wore a sport coat, but underneath the sport coat, I wore a t-shirt that did say FDSC.
community spirit. How do you think about Ripple's role in this engagement with the XRP community these days? Ripple is very much involved with institutions and enterprises these days as you come back to the US and growing. But how do you see your role in the XRP?
Yeah. I always thought it was kind of funny and strange that people questioned Ripple's commitment to XRP. Today, Ripple's still the largest holder of XRP on the planet. We are the most interested party in seeing XRP be successful. We will continue to be the most interested party in seeing XRP be successful. And so whenever I read people kind of questioning that, I just think, like, it doesn't make sense logically. And it's obviously not what I've said publicly. Ripple's extremely committed to how do we make XRP the most useful digital asset, how do we make it the most liquid digital asset, how do we make it the most trusted digital asset. And if we can do those things at the same time, but do those things by selling products and services to financial institutions, to capital markets around what we have for Ripple Prime. I mean, Ripple Treasury has been on its hair. And by the way, the other people don't know, part of the reason we did the XRP and Ripple Treasury ads on the strip is the main competitors in Ripple Treasury is called Kyriba. And they were doing their customer conference the last few days here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Trollo.
Questioned Ripple's loyalty as a stable coin.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, is this doing digital replacement for XRP?
Yeah.
And
Look, I get it. I also, and maybe this is somewhat frustrating to the XRP community sometimes. I don't feel the need to constantly update the whole world about our strategy because to some degree that just informs people who want to compete against us. And so, look, we're going to do things that may not at first blush make crystal clear sense. But I swear to you, even if it doesn't have a direct line from point A to point B being good for XR, it may be point A to point B to point B to point C. It's all in service of how to do things that expand, grow, driving liquidity, utility, and trust in XRP. And I keep saying those things. It'll keep building around that. Ripple now is 1,500 people strong. We're having a record year in a ton of different ways.
just got back from traveling to your global constituents.
You did. You got a round the world trip, which that was I'm not doing that. That was too hard. In Dublin, London, Singapore, Sydney in 1 week, which is that was too much.
Did you see on your travels, were there any use cases outside the Ripple ecosystem for XRP that caught your eye?
I mean, I've talked about this a little bit before. I mean, there's a bunch of things that Ripple doesn't focus on, and I think Ashish, I'd like to do a great job talking about some of these. The tokenization of various asset classes, I think, is inevitable. There's a bunch of things around that that were outside Ripple's scope, and you want to see other people pursue. Some of those people, the XRP ledger, some of the vision the James Schwartz's of the world had 13, 14 years ago is just unbelievable to me. It really was the first decentralized exchange. Canadian organic tokenization frameworks of issuing assets are kind of built in at the base level. There's a bunch of industries I don't know that much about. I read about things like bond selling. Bond selling is slow, it is arcane, and it is absurd to think about how that works in the world of the internet. And I think it's only a matter of time before you see things like bond selling that move to on-chain. And you see, Ripple can help catalyze those things to leverage the XRP ledger. Guys, again, I don't want to leave you with the impression it is going to be a multi-chain world. The XRP ledger is exceptionally good at some things and not good at some other things, and that's okay. Like that, also by design, and that's good. Because if you try to do all things for all people, you're going to be less good at other things. You're going to slow the transaction speed down. You're going to impact cost per transaction. You're going to, we have an amazing underlying infrastructure that's really good for certain things, and let's invest to go after those things.
There's been just a little criticisms, just this human now of the support, right? You guys have made so many acquisitions. You guys are valued around UTMB. I have those numbers. Just
So Ripple did a share buyback in like the 50 billion.
50 billion, something. $50 billion. I think someone suggested recently that there could be a way where Ripple does some kind of like XRP token buyback to, the XRP community could, have some kind of like share as well. And I don't understand that's like, well, Ripple company is separate from the XRP ledger, from separate from XRP, the token. But you always come back to the notion that, XRP is key to everything that it does. Is that something you've explored or anything that?
Well, a long circuitous way, another example of tokenization dynamics, the private markets for secondary private companies is not efficient. And, as some people, unfortunately, got caught up in this year last store, got caught up in link to bankruptcy.
Yep.
Which you're linked to today owes a bunch, I think
3%.
Thank you. I don't know exactly. 3% of Ripple's equity, which is great. Now, that being said, now that there's this bankruptcy, Ripple's in kind of this awkward position where it's actually keep it at arm's length. I think some people would like to see us buying that 10%. It didn't work in some way at odds with the community that owns it, because we want to buy it at the cheapest possible price. That's our fiduciary obligation. They want to get the maximum price. So the likelihood is we just look, let's not link to do link to. It's kind of, I think, wrapping up the bankruptcy process, and there's a structure to sell some of those shares, and in secondary market will go however it goes. The long-term dynamic, we have not prioritized going public for a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, one of them is, if you pay attention to IPOs like BitGo and Gemini, these haven't done particularly well.
Kraken's put off the IPO.
Kraken has purportedly delayed their IPO. So I think we're just not in a big hurry to go down that path. And I was just joking a little bit about the she's now a public company CEO. There's benefits to being private. I could get up here and not kind of say what I'm not to say. You can call from the SEC or my incredibly talented legal team who's saying, Brian, we can't say that shit.
Talk dirty, Brad.
Should XRP holders be able to just go back from Ripples?
Well, I hope that's a feel like we're benefiting from Ripples by virtue of what we're doing to try to catalyze things within the XRP community. Is there a scenario if and when Ripple goes public, could we do something special for people who hold XRP or something? Maybe. I mean, that's not in the immediate term. I mean, that is kind of like, there's nothing we were asking. Nothing, because I freaking love the XRP.
I love you too.
To do things that are good for the XRP community. It is a driving mission. And I hope that when Ripple's thinking about an acquisition, we're thinking about it as, okay, how does that catalyze things within XRP? When we make the investments outside of it, how does that, how do people adopt XRP? Help partner. We want a really high class, high quality digital asset treasury company like Evernorth to exist. We think that's good for the community. It's good for Ripple shareholders. We think it's good for everyone. And so, we want to see that happen, and we'll continue to lead into things like that.
Let's get some policy, because that's my favorite, and I like talking about it too. You guys were initially approved for a OCC trust charity mapping.
I thought you were talking about Tilly.
Oh, we're going to get there. We got 5 minutes, so I'm going to go. Okay. But the OCC trust charter gets started December. Now, there was a conditional approval. Is there any update on a full approval? the timeline to do stuff on that?
So the conditional approval, there's certain things Ripple has to use, like the conditions, if you will, and those are all things that within our control. So we feel very good about that. First of all, I had it's introduction of travel, seeing Washington lean into and be supportive of this industry is a very positive sign. We focused our existing OCC conditional approval around what we're doing with our USD standpoint. And so they have it regulating both the New York Department of Financial Services, or DFS, as well as at the OCC federal level. To some degree, it's about these suspenders. We want to be the most white hat around stablecoins as possible because of our institutional customer base. And we think that has served as well. Now, I think that the other part of your question maybe is what else we might want to do there. And look, we're in the payments business.
And you guys apply it to the master account?
The Fed master account is very much on our radar. And I think that would be a big unlock.
Now there's the skinny master accounts, which Dr. Waller has rolled out. Is that going to be enough for what you guys want to do?
I'm going to dodge that question. I'm going to dodge with
Awesome, darling.
I'm not being artful about it. I'm just telling you what I'm talking about. Ripple believes that it gives you way out. The United States benefits from better financial sources infrastructure. Blockchain is a major unlock. People still discount how big that change would be. Payments is a big one. Getting access to that master account, I think, is good for the United States. And it was up to.
Yeah.
Clarity. So we could see a banking markup potentially next month. But can we just talk about where we are now? I mean, we've been hearing that we're going to get this bill for funds, and now just maybe getting that Senate banking next month.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on is the bill going to get is that going to get out of the Senate before the midterm elections? Are we going to get a bill before the midterm elections?
Yeah.
President Trump's test.
I have gotten way too knowledgeable about how this shit works, and
So have I.
we spent most of my career as a techie at Silicon Valley, and it moved to Miami, but it's still, I guess, it's techie for Silicon Valley. Good news has been Ripple has an absolute full seat at the table. Our voice is respected, our voice is heard, and people care that we are involved. We people seeing that in this tournament.
The real professionals.
Trading part for VAs. We were on the finish line in 3 months ago, in late January. We're on the finish line. And I think, us, Brian Armstrong from Coinbase is like, pause. Let's slow this down, man. And I think what they didn't calculate well is that in doing so, you create a little bit of a vacuum. And in Washington, there's a vacuum, shit fills this. And so now you get objections. I mean, like the amount of things, maybe you know this well also, like the number of things that become problematic for the Clarity Act includes housing. There's a certain senator for Republican senator that cares about housing. Like, how does the housing trade impact the Clarity Act? The frustrating thing is we were on the finish line. It wasn't perfect, about in the first two that day, but it was pretty good. It's frustrating to me we find ourselves where we are. I am still hopeful. I'm using that word a little bit optimistic. I'm still hopeful. There is still momentum. But man, watching the sausage get made in Washington is tough to watch. And it's very funny that it's humorous. And the most important thing, I know she's talking about this. People, I want to hear to make sure they understand. XRP has clarity. XRP fought in very.
Yep. It's the standard.
You guys said XRP in and of itself is not a security. Boom. We have clarity. That's what we care about. Ripple has leaned into supporting the Clarity Act because we think it's good for the industry. If we want the largest economy in the world, the United States, to lean into crypto in a way that helps, it's good for Ripple if that happens. But XRP has clarity. So again, there's a certain irony that people talk about. I choose to ignore Charles Hopkins' past. I think that's unfortunate for a lot of other players in the industry in the United States. And I think what's part of it is when I've been talking to CEOs of banks or resident people banks, they're nervous that the next administration, when Paul Atkins is not there, some of these things, they're just guidance can change. And I get it. Like if you're a big financial institution that's had to deal with a SEC that is fined like billions of dollars, they don't take a chance. And so if we want the largest economy in the world to lead in, we want the US to be as competitive as some other countries around the world in these technologies, we need the Clarity Act to pass.
If it changed as soon as the do it, technically, if the House transfer.
For sure. My own personal view is, as an individual to the question, we have a few weeks, and either this gets out of committee in the Senate banking committee. If it doesn't get out in the next few weeks, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Because of the clarity that XRP has. And obviously, you guys have come back to the United States. You've already started building out your infrastructure there.
So a lot.
That's a lot. You say that you guys will get a lot.
I mean, XRP is going to be a kid no matter what. I mean, if obviously, at the CFTC announcement about the guidance is really positive. Well, again, you got to always go back to it. It's in fact a federal judge. She is clear. She happened to be an appointee by a Democrat. And so it's kind of like, look, XRP, you guys, good news. We're good. XRP has taken it.
It's just because you could see some change there. I'm concerned that they're hoping that change there. Are you, and to the point where it might be, you have donated some more money to Fair Shake, because last election you donated around $50 million to that single package.
Damn.
For crypto folks elected.
Yeah.
Ripple thinking about making similar donations this time in the midterms.
We will continue to lead into pro-innovation, pro-crypto candidates on both sides of that. And you know, I have been very appreciative that we have in the White House a very pro-crypto administration. But I think the laws are passed by Congress, and we want to see bipartisan support. You know, I've said this a lot publicly, but as you know well, the fact that a technology became partisan is just madness. It's just crazy to me. But it's almost, let's think, you know, I said email is a partisan issue. Like, if somebody hate email because you're a Democrat and like email because you're Republican, like, it makes no sense. And it really does start, I think, you know, for people over here from Massachusetts. Elizabeth Warren made this an issue. I'm declaring war on ways to make crypto or an anti-crypto war. Why? See this?
Last one. Everybody that I've seen you staff or introduced over the last couple of weeks has asked you your predictions of when Clarity will pass. So I'm going to give a different. When is it going to pass?
Oh boy. I feel better than the answer. But I was listening, April 30th. I will give it so the end of the third week in May. I don't know what the exact date that is. If it doesn't get out of committee by the end of the third week in May, I think we're real strong. If it gets out of committee, we're good. Because it will pass the Senate if it gets out of committee. Yeah, there is bipartisan support at the Senate level if it gets out.
Do you think even with ethics still in it?
Well, that's the bigger problem, I think, in the committee than it is the staff floor. We'll see. And you may have, you know, the stuff also. I think we knew that stuff.
You got to be next step, right? Brad and Danielle, what's up to that? All right, I think that's all we have time for. But Emily,
Brad Garlinghouse said that regulatory clarity is improving. He said that the SEC has delivered more clarity than the previous administration under Gary Gensler, and that the new SEC chair, Paul Atkins, has been a lot more transparent and straightforward with Ripple. Brad Garlinghouse reassured all the XRP holders, saying that Ripple, is the North Star. He said that 2 days ago, but he also said that Ripple is the most interested party in XRP. And he reminded why Ripple continues to be the top holder of XRP. Brad Garlinghouse said that Ripple does not plan to go public with an IPO, but he did say that maybe in the future there could be some incentives for the XRP holders. Brad Garlinghouse said that there is progress with OCC and trust banks. He also touched up on how, the Clarity Act was delayed a little bit with the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, but Garlinghouse said that he remains very optimistic about the Clarity Act being passed very soon. Shortly after that, Brad Garlinghouse mentioned that the Las Vegas Sphere, the people that take payments, I guess, to be able to put a logo on the Sphere, actually denied the XRP logo from being on and said that you can only put the Bitcoin logo or Ethereum. And Brad Garlinghouse said, look, we need to have a boycott right here against the Sphere for denying XRP. The Sphere refused to put XRP on display, and they said that Bitcoin and Ethereum were fine. That's a little weird why the Sphere would, deny to put XRP there, considering XRP was all over Las Vegas anyway, so might as well put it on the Sphere. So guys, today today is XRP Las Vegas day 2, the final day. So if you guys want to stay fully updated on that right now, then take a look at my Instagram or my X page at Crypto Dill News, and I'll post the full breakdown update of day 2 tomorrow, which, you know, this is being recorded today of day 1, which was yesterday, and now day 2 will be posted to the YouTube tomorrow. So guys, subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.